My name is Nathaniel Darnell. Most people call me Nate. Agriculture's been in our family, you know, since I mean, as far back as that can look. Our grandfather went into the Navy and went out west, but his family was cabbage farmers in Raven Gap, Georgia, which is just down the road. And so that he went out of agriculture, and when he came back from the war, he got into carpentry.
Yeah, his cousins were all into agriculture. They were huge cabbage farmers. They all got rich. He made the mistake.
So, and he passed away when my dad was very young, around 6 years old. And my dad always had this yearning to get back into agriculture because the people around him in the community knew that his family was involved. So Dad so it skipped a generation. Dad got back into ag.
Real estate started to come here when my dad was in his early 20s, and I think he saw a lot of people have to sell out, and their old farms are all now just big developments. But my dad I gotta give him a little credit because he was a conservationist before it was cool, kinda, you know. He was like, so he's like, everybody became a real estate agent, he was gonna become a farmer. That was
and to this day, my dad's highly involved with ADFP and trying to preserve farmland in the state, and I mean any state really, but North Carolina specifically, you know, because he was it meant a lot to him because he did skip a generation. There was no farmland in the family for him to access, so he had to go out and lease everything, and that's what drove him into Swain and Jackson County, and in the late 70s, early 80s, found this farm and began to lease it, and then that's where it began to blossom. We've been trying out agritourism from the beginning because it had great potential.
In like 2012.
Yeah, it was about 2012 when we
we'd
started.
always done field trips. Like my whole life, people were always like, people grew up around here. If you ask people within like a 30-mile radius where Darnell Farms, like, yeah, we used to go there as a kid. We'd go pick strawberries, or we'd go to the pumpkin patch, but it wasn't nothing big. And to be entirely honest with you, we never made $1. We never made anything.
And that's about the time after it really sunk her teeth into helping manage the farm.
In 2015, my dad, I looked at him and I said, well, you know, you're missing a huge movement. People are starting to talk about buying local. They're tired of having to go to the grocery store. It's monotonous. They understand. They're starting to get the idea. 2016, we decided to add more to the fruit produce stand and to make it more of like a farmer's market rather than just like a little side of the road produce stand. And then I had this harebrained idea one time. I bought this food trailer for like a good deal. I thought I was doing great and had an ice cream machine in there. And my dad thought I literally got yelled. They got so upset with me because they didn't have the money to buy this food trailer that had a little ice cream machine in there. And I was like, no, hear me out. I think
we can't sell ice cream. We're a farm. We sell produce. But the real turning point was when we, again, fully committed, or in the mid-20 teens to about 14, 15, to going really focusing on that shed right there that I spent all my life under as a little boy.
We decided that we were going to break out the middleman. We were done with selling to these brokers and dropping.
She brought in ice cream. She brought that
selling. We stopped
we call
selling
them whips.
Yeah.
Brought those whips in, and people.
Yeah.
And people, I was blown away at how well they were received, because what I learned from that, and so now I'm not one to support every idea she has, but I give her ideas way more credence, is that value added was key for us.
Yeah.
Take our strawberries, make shortcake with them, make ice cream with them.
Make them come here. We want everybody to come here and spend their money. We don't want to make them go to the grocery store. We want them to come here, make the farm their own, buy what they want, enjoy themselves, because they're going to come back every year because this is a tourist spot, and then they're going to bring their family. They're going to tell their friends.
Yeah. We're not just growing you food out here, we're growing you an experience. Nate the farmer here, standing on the edge of the strawberry field. I was always very anti-social media. It felt like a crutch we didn't need as a society. I still have issues with it. But when she exposed me to being able to, the genesis of our Nate the Farmer videos was she showing up behind me while I was picking yellow crookneck squash, and I said, hey, tell me what you're doing. I'm gonna show you what they look like. There you go, guys.
You want to learn about farming from a farmer.
From a family farm, not just a farmer, but a family farm.
Yeah, like true farmers. It's just like the statistics you said in your thing. We're real people, we're real farmers. If you're going to get your facts about farming, if you want to learn about a car, you talk to a mechanic. If you want to learn about space, you talk to an astronaut. And if you want to learn about farming, you talk to a farmer. And I think that's where we connect with social media.
Hey guys, Nate the Farmer here. I want to give people a practical view of farming.
Yeah.
Number one, how you actually do it. I wanted them to see it's regular, everyday people that do this.
What?
Trying to find some over here.
You can find some over here. Look right there.
You know, we're just like anybody else. We have families. I always try to get the kids in the videos to show them to kind of give people exposure to, because they are ignorant and it's not their fault. We generate that. You know, you would think that in the society we live in nowadays we'd probably be more enlightened, but they're not, because we're funneled what we want to hear.
Yeah.
So if you can somehow, you know, and I've only used it, we only scratched the surface of how to do it. We're getting ready to enter a whole new era of social media when we open up more YouTube pages and things like that. And we're going to start stepping in. We're working on that as we speak, because, and I'm not really interested in the monetary side of it. I just want to expose people to what true agriculture is, because true love for agriculture. It's not about preservation. It's conservation. It's about working the land, being a tenant, working with Mother Nature. It's not about preservation to the degree that you don't touch it. You have to use it, mold it, and then learn how to repair it and bring it back. You know, it's a give and take.
There's different sides for me personally. I think it's cool to get down there and meet people that are kind of in the same boat that we are. Like, when I first started, I was like, I'm a little podunk mountain. We're vegetable farmers from the mountains. We're not corn and soybean. We ain't gonna have nothing in common with these nice Columbia wearing shirt boys. You know what I'm talking about? We're not gonna have anything in common. I really thought that from the start. Nothing. And these people end up becoming some of my greatest friends and my greatest allies. If I have a question, a lot of these guys have been able to connect me with some congressmen or senators because they're right there with Raleigh, or their farms border next to these people, and it's been really kind of cool.
But as I've gotten older, I realize just farmers are innately, because it's such a stressful job, you very oftentimes feel alone. You feel alone. Farm Bureau offers you, through the Young Farmer, through the LEAD program, and through it, just the fellowship of it alone, support. That's the best word I can say. Support when you need someone to talk to. Support when you need to get in touch with your congressman. And I know I'm a political buff like anybody. I listen to the political channels and try to understand what's going on. But the fight can almost be daunting for somebody like me. So you need somebody to swing that back for you while you're doing something else. That was probably the best thing I ever did, was to get on the board. My dad motivated me to get on the board and be part of it. Yeah, I'd say my greatest satisfaction, it's kind of hard to pinpoint one thing, but I spent my entire life farming. My dad was in the tomato field the day I was born, and so it's been a life's work to try to make a living, and it's been a struggle. But I think that when people come down here and they feel comfortable enough with me to walk up to me and say hello and shake my hand and want to have a conversation, you know, because they feel like this farm is something special.
My greatest satisfaction is having people come down here and then walking up being like, wow, the farm looks great. People that have been here and been coming for years and been like, wow, you guys are really doing a good job. That's a good feeling. And people saying that to my dad. I don't really care as much as them saying it to me, but to make him feel good, like he did, like he's successful. May not be a millionaire farmer, you know, may not be driving big trucks and feeling fancy, but he's successful in probably the most important way, and I think that's a big satisfaction. He's got a family that's stuck with him and is still here. None of us left. And I think that's my satisfaction.